Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of martial arts mayhem, and also the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today, since it's the 1st of February and ostensibly February is the month of love, we're going to be doing something a little different. Now, I do realize that I probably should have used Wing Chun as this for this month, since it's more of a love story than Heroes of the East. But Heroes of the East is a love story. It's about two people who get married and the misunderstandings, especially cultural and martial arts misunderstandings that happen after they get married because they barely know each other, or they used to know each other. She was an ugly kid, apparently, according to Otto, or how I don't even know what his. Goes through like how Hotao, even though he's called Otto a lot. Otto probably would have what it would have been call if they'd have dubbed it in the 90s. They'd have just changed his name, of course, because they called Wong Fei Hung Freddie Wong in Drunken Master in both dubs, the new one and the original one. Be that as it may, we've got a lot to get through here, and a lot of pictures. I had over 300 screen grabs that I used, and got it down to less than that. But we don't want this thing to go a minute or 30 minutes. So please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe bell, the notification bell for that sort of things. And let's get on with the show here. We do have a little bit of sound from the trailer, which is only a minute 4 long. So it came from, of course, the Bruce Lee and Kung Fu Mania. So here's Gordon Lau, the star of the movie. This movie was directed by his adoptive brother, Lau Kar-leung, and it's one of his top three, in my view, one of his top three with the Master Killer, aka the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, and Hero and Martial Club, aka Masters of Death, something like that. But those are my three favorite of Lau Kar-leung's. There's Gordon with his father and complaining that he's about to get married, and then he sees her. Now, the young lady is played by, where's the actors here? Come on, you bastards. All right, the cast. That's Yuka Mizuno. She's called Yumiko, or in the movie, she's Yumiko Kungzi Koda, and she's Hotao's wife from Kyoto, Japan, and she's trained in martial arts. But she's also very kind and very headstrong, as he says. Our other hero or the Japanese antagonist, ostensible, is Yasuaki Kurata, who's amazing, and his martial arts are astounding. I can't say he should be far more highly regarded in the West as well, like Chiba-san and Shinichi Chiba and Hiroyuki Sanada. That's just all there is to it because he's great. We'll go through everybody else here later on, but their marriage has been arranged since they were kids. There's his father, and the guy here on the right is his goofball Chow Khan, who is played by, let's see if I can find Chow Khan, Cheng Hung Yip. There's our title of the movie, produced by Run Run Shaw. Lau Kar-leung also is the fighting instructor, and Tong Wei Cheng, Tong Wei Cheng probably. Already the misunderstandings are happening during the wedding because she's wearing white, which is the color of death in most of Asia, but she wore it anyway because she's Japanese. Now, I don't know when this is set. This says Shanghai in the 1930s, at least at Wikipedia. Their family's very rich, Hotao, and this is because they're doing business in Japan, so that's part of the reason. Fortunately, he decides he likes her and she likes him. And There you go. Lau Kar-lung is that's his old spelling of his name. It's much easier to say Lau Kar-lung, isn't it? There they are. And now the first misunderstanding is Kuda or Yumiko is practicing martial arts, and they think that Gordon Hotel is beating her, which. But they have a really good relationship because he's just whispered something in her ear about exercise. To draw your own conclusions. And there's his dad who's leaving to go back to Japan. And so like the last one, this came off the DVD, which I don't remember which one it was, if it was from Dragon Dynasty or Dynasty. But it's got great subtitles here and there. So, and a lot of the subtitles just come directly from the Celestial Seasonings, Celestial DVD. So, but they're cleaned up a bit because some of those were a bit questionable. See, there he's accusing him of beating her, and she's out practicing, and she's a good martial artist. The actress or the actor there. I mean, it takes concentration to balance your foot like that and not wobble. Take it from X7, who's also, as we know, has studied Choi Li Fut for many years and Taekwondo even before that. But she's very Japanese oriented stylist. She wants to wrestle with him, and, that can be a form of flirtation. Not that your humble agent has ever experienced that, but it does happen. So she thinks he doesn't know any kung fu, and then she gets a demonstration. Once again, she's balanced well on her foot. She's got muscles there. And he's demonstrating. This is some Wing Chun he's demonstrating. And which is well done. And now the Lau family was proponents of Hung Gar. That was the in-house style of the Shaw brothers for many years because he was their guy. And now, once he separated from Chang Che, and the Venoms mob took over, they had different things, but all of them had some formality, some training in several martial arts styles, but almost all Southern. And so the other problem is that he's a bit high strung. He's a bit stubborn about being Chinese and how much better they are. So one of the few, we'll get to this. There's his school, and they're all practicing, and he does some wooden dummy. And obviously there's one of the masters from the 36th chamber, because they all did double duty, but you can't really not recognize many of them. And he gets into a fight because they're saying she can beat him up, and he's annoyed at his dipstick butler or servant, Chow Khan, who blabbed to everybody about her beating him or beating her. She doesn't have a place to practice, so she's destroying the garden wall now, or the outside garden. And it just goes on like that. So she's happy. Her weapons have shown up. Now, there are differences between Chinese and Japanese weapons, obviously. Once again, please read Blake Matthews' book. It's all about the style. He goes into it very well, way better than I ever could. And I highly recommend it. It's available on Amazon for a wonderful price. It's all about the style. Blake Matthews. So there's her sai and her spear and the chain hook, which is, I want to say a Manriki Gusari, but I'm not 100% sure about the pronunciation. So there's his best bud, who is, I think, let me get down here. That's Norman Chu, I believe. He's the only one that gets a credit, but he doesn't do any fighting, but he's been in lots of other movies. Later playing villainous roles. So she's throwing out all the Chinese weapons and calling them, in the English dub, she says they're trash or rubbish. And he gets offended. She's got her katana there. And he uses a gim, which is a straight edge sword used in Tai Chi, and as far as my experience goes. And of course, he beats her. Then they get the spears out, and he's got the red tassel spear. She's got her solid. I don't even know what the Japanese swords spears are made of, but of course the Chinese spears are made of bamboo because they wobble. And he gets in her, which is what it's supposed to do, get in her face. It's also supposed to absorb blood when you stab someone or poke them with the sharp end of the spear. So he beats her. And she gets annoyed. They have dinner separately because she sits on the floor. He eats at a table because the Westerners have been there. But it's a cute. This movie is a comedy. It's not serious. Nobody dies in the movie. Not Japanese, not Chinese. None of the Japanese have fangs when just a scant 6 years earlier, and even less than that, like 2 years earlier, 3 years earlier, Jimmy Wang Yu had Japanese martial artists with fangs in them in 2 of his movies. But that's a nice gag there. And then they discuss various weapons, just like that. And he says he admires her. And they really do love each other. The DVD has a commentary by Bay Logan, which is wonderful. I don't know if this has been re-released on Blu-ray. I've not seen it yet. I would probably get. They do have a Lau Kar-Lung Arrow Video has a Lau Kar-Lung set, so they've repaired everything here finally, and they have a battle there. She's trying to throw him with judo, but she doesn't quite have the same leverage she needs. The Tonfas and I don't even remember. Once again, ask Blake. I just like this shot. And then she goes to ninja. So here's the crux of the matter. He doesn't like it. He calls it murder in the English dub, but she said and in the subtitles it says ambush. And I don't know why she'd call him an ignorant fool. Probably called him bakayaro or something to that effect, which is, depending on how you say it, can be ignorant or silly. Ignorant just sounds really mean to me. But he wants her to drop the ninja stuff, which, wouldn't. So there's 2 masters separating them and telling him exactly he needs some humility. And once more, there's no one style that can beat any other style. It's the person and how they prepare and how they train that gives them the martial spirit to triumph over, you're generally a bad guy, but anyone. Okay, let's see. So there's his dad in Japan, where Kudo has now run off to. And there's our hero, not our hero, but the antagonist, Takeno, the ninja style, ninjutsu expert, which by 1930 had probably pretty much gone out of style, even in Japan. And ninja, of course, were the lowest of the low. We've talked about this. Wait till we get to 5-element ninja at some point in time for Shaolin Saturday. And yes, it is called the original English title was Shaolin Challenges Ninja. Shaolin is not mentioned in here at all, just by it's just not. So yeah, they introduce him. And she still calls him dad, but he's very interested in Kudo. So Koda. I think the dub is tricking me up here. Hotao is drunk, which will come in handy later. There's the Japanese master. Played by Naozo Kato. And so he assembles his the 8 samurai, the legend of the 8 samurai that show up, but they're not samurai. The one guy's a kendo master, which is as close to samurai as you're going to get. But there's a judo, a sai, let's see, nunchuck, karate, aido. I don't even know how to say that. So the battles they have are. Let me get back up here. Okay. The samurai, the katana versus the gem, karate versus drunken. Well, we'll get onto this here. See, told you, challenge of the 8 samurai. I know, legend. more misunderstandings show up. So here's our first battle, the katana versus the gim, which of course the katana would just probably destroy a real gim because they're not designed to be spiritual weapons. But got to give them some license here for movie's sake. And there is a language barrier, and I think the dub, I don't know if they're dubbed and just left them in Japanese, and then some of them speak Chinese or Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't even know. Does it say what it was? Mandarin, Cantonese, and Japanese. So, and English. So sometimes you think he's understanding him, but there's some of that where it's not. But Hotao is one, and he gives him the sword. There's the big misunderstanding: is he doesn't understand what's going on. He thinks he's still being threatened. This is why the Chinese have no manners. And they talk about how to beat. So he's got they have another 5 challenges to go here. And there's Beggar So, the drunken master himself, as played by Lau Kar-lang. So he directed his own movie, did all the martial arts choreography, and he had a role in it. Now it's just a short one, and he doesn't play him the way you see him in Drunken Master. But so Hotao is back there copying him to learn, because he's an advanced enough martial artist that it wouldn't be that difficult. But there's a lot of different movements when you're drunken and fighting. So we get quite a few of these, and he sacrifices all his friends who get beat up by Master So. And they're like, "Are you done? Can we go?" So they go. Koda's come back, and they've made up. So she explains what's going on, and now the challenge has been issued. I like her purple outfit. I think it looks groovy, baby. Yeah. And they're all, very. One of the things I can say and will always say is that Lau Kar-lang knows his martial arts styles, much like Sammo Hung. If they say you need to do Wing Chun here, you're doing Wing Chun. They'll teach you what to do, and you'll do it. So there's your proper salute. And here, this guy is the karate master. Sino Okinawan karate. I'm sure he has unagi. There you go, Lilith. And we get the drunken style. Also Lilith's favorite. And you know how hard it is to get action shots in these things. I had over 360 screen grabs here, and these are the best I could do. So now we've got a tonfa, and because nunchucks are a Japanese weapon, no matter how much people think Bruce Lee invented them. And a tonfa there, which is the wooden stick. And it's against the three-sectional staff. Jointed weapons always scared me. I never even got to use them. But once again, good poses, and he wins. So the main issue I have is he wins almost easily every time. It's not easily, because it's still a battle, and I'm sure he was sweating. But, maybe there's 7 of them, maybe have a best out of 7. He wins 4, loses 3, or ties, but he beats every one of them. But he does so. And now we've got the spears, the red tassel spear against the Japanese long spear. This says Chang, which, I just learned is red tassel spear, the king of weapons. And then he uses it again to blind his opponent. And obviously, there's no blood. There's no blood in any of this movie. And now it is the butterfly swords versus the sai. This says Okinawan tekpis. Those are sai. Come on, Wiki, get it together, Wiki. This is a fun little battle, and he wins. And now we've got judo, and this is a more comedic duel because he would have won if they hadn't cheated. But he's there before midnight because it's every day they have a battle, and he shows up at 11:30 or something, and just sits there, and then the battle. So the good thing about the movie is that, according to Bay Logan, that they didn't invent bullet time, but they had a fast speed camera where they could shoot the footage and slow it down, so you can get some good shots here, and you'll see that later. Once again, he's speaking in Japanese, and they're translating for him. But they put some peanut oil on him so he can't grab him because he's judo, and if you can't throw somebody because you can't hold him, you lose. And he gives up, that's kind of cheating, really. I think that's not very honorable, but And finally, we're going against the ninja skill and peanut shell. This is not a battle, you dingus. Jeez. Anyway, we're into the final battle, and it goes for about 20 minutes. He's got all the Chinese version of the ninja stuff, and they start fighting. Feathers, chain whip. That's not a chain whip. Pardon me, that's a rope dart. Jeez. But, ninja magic. Poof. And threats, and then they're both in disguise as two old men, which doesn't fool either of them. So they're very much alike. Spears again, without being a copy. Look at that Yuasa-san jumping like that. That's just, he's a great martial artist. His stances are better than Gordon's. I'm sorry, Kurata-san. Yuasa was the director of the Gamera movies, most of the Gamera movies. Kurata-san has look at that vertical jump, and without getting speared, because boy, you mistime that and you're in a world of hurt. More ninja flames, smoke, hiding in scarecrows, I guess. And it's the final battle's worth watching, and I've yet to here. You can hear some of it. I really like this shot because he shot this outside, so this is right before the Shaws started shooting everything on sets inside, selling off their property because they could make money from it. And I don't even know if Shaw's exists other than as a real estate property or something. They do most of their own stunts. I think that there are some of them. There's another shot of the slow motion photography where you can get a good screen grab from. And very serious. And the crab style of karate, or what is it? Which is completely made up. It's and Gordon is using, or Hotao is using, the crane fist. And he does it really well. And obviously that's something he's well known for, is his crane style. And just look at how far down he is and completely mobile. So you'll see the trailer at the end of the episode. It's like the look on his face and the look on Kurata-san's face when he's about to poke his eyes out, which is what happened to Mafuyi. Oh, I hate that Mafuyi, who's not present in this movie. Another lovely outside shot there. You can tell it's a real river because there's mud. These guys just did anything. He's used the old snorkel, but he's got some kind of poison or something that he shoots into the face. Now he thinks he's won. And he's taking him back to where everyone is. And now I listen in English, so the subtitles are here just to help out. But he didn't win. And they were going to let the kendo master chop his hands off, but he's alive. And what was his name again? Takeno. There we go. So that was it for the end of the trailer. And they become friends, and they compliment each other, and he has him translate to his master that he made a mistake when he didn't accept the sword, and then the kendo master gives him the sword, both hands, very much a sign of respect to take something with both hands. And that's the end of the movie. So that was like 160 pictures that I just zapped through right away. However, it is a love story. I'm assuming that Kudo and Hotao lived happily ever after and had children. Who knows what happened in World War II, which was, some 10 years away. But maybe they could get back to Japan, or they left and came over to, America, United States here, and opened their own school. We'll never know because they never make sequels. The DVD is usually pretty inexpensive, so if you can find it, I highly recommend it. And that is our episode for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And remember, find a translator, study up on your martial arts. So this is, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off.